Hello students, let's look about some problems in this session. Let's look at the first one. What is the minimum frequency of light to get photocurrent from a metal surface having work function 2 electron volt? So for us work function has been given, which is 2 electron volt. So W equal to H naught equal to 2 electron volt, multiplying with the charge which converts this electron volt into joule. So nu naught equal to W by H. Upon substitution my final answer is 4.8 into 10 power 14 hertz. Okay, right. Look at the second one. When a monochromatic radiation is incident on a metal of work function W, maximum kinetic energy is K. If frequency of radiation is made n times, then relate final and initial kinetic energies. Look here, in this problem, metal function work function has been given for us. For that, maximum kinetic energy is K. Frequency of radiation is made n times. Frequency of radiation is made n times. Understand that. So from the photoelectric equation, we can write down that, right? Ke max equal to h nu minus h nu naught. Of course, that's what the work function W for the first case. In the second case, Ke2 equal to n times, no? Then it was n into h nu minus W. Keep this aside. Now consider this first equation, multiply with n. What I can get, n into Ke1 equal to n into h nu minus nW, right? Now 2 minus 3, this is second equation, this is third equation, let's say call. So now 2 minus 3, if we do that, so I can get that Ke2 final kinetic energy, right? This is what equal to n into Ke1 plus n minus 1 into W. Are you getting the point here? Of course, if you want, we can subtract this. Difference will be equal to n minus 1 times of that one, or else in any of the method you can go. This is what the relation. Final kinetic energy is nothing but n times of first initial kinetic energy plus n minus 1 times of the work function. Are we clear with this? Okay. Next one. Radiations of wavelength 200 nanometer propagating in the form of a parallel beam falls normally on a plain metallic surface. The intensity of the beam is 5 milliwatt and its cross sectional area is 1 millimeter square. Find the pressure exerted by the radiation on the metallic surface if radiation is completely reflected. So completely reflected to refers to just I want to draw a reference figure for this. So there is a metal plate, radiation is falling on it, it's incident on it, and it is completely reflected back. So condition, do you remember, right? 2 times of. So now we have to consider that number of photons hitting that plate, all that we have to, and then we have to write. But before that, look here, as energy of the photon can be given equal to h nu. Nu I can write it as c by lambda. Look here, h is a constant, c is a constant. If I substitute those values h and c, remember this is a standard value. This 12,400 electron volt Armstrong is a standard value whenever we need to find out the energy and wavelength of the radiation has been given in angstroms. Then we can substitute this hc instead of always substituting that h into c. Remember this value 12,400 electron volt angstroms divided by lambda, which is in the angstrom. So now substitute that value, 200 nanometer, right? So 200 into nano 10 power minus 9 meter, and as you know 1 angstrom is 10 power minus 10 meter. So keeping that in mind, if I go for that, what it will be, 12,400 by 2000, angstrom cancels out, right? So electron volt. So this is 6.2 electron volt, and this 6.2 electron volt, convert that into joule. Almost this was 9.6.2, right? 6.2 into 1.9, almost 20 means 62 into 20. You can treat that to be almost 10 power minus 18 joule, almost. So now number of photons passing a point per second. This can be given as n equal to I into A by E, intensity into area by E. Look here, this is not a new thing for you. Look about the intensity expression. I'll write here. First let me erase the figure so that I can start from there. So what is the expression for intensity? Amount of energy per unit area per unit time. That's it, right? So can I write it as power by area? I equal to amount of energy per unit area per unit time. Of course, A by B by C, A by B C. Energy by time is nothing but power. So for n photons, total number of the photons, I can write it to be as n into E by A into T, right? So which is nothing but n times of power P by area. That's it, right? Energy by time is power. Now from this I can write it as N equal to IA by P. Can I write down from this? That's what I'm doing here. I into A by E. So all that values. So number of photons, which is nothing but 5 into 10 power minus 3 by 10 power minus 18. Remember here intensity of the beam has been mentioned for us, 5 milliwatt. That's what I did here. And 10 power minus 18, which is the energy which you have calculated here, so equal to 5 into 10 power 15. Now momentum of each photon, P equal to E by C. Remember this formula we have already seen when we are discussing the theory. Okay, so as the photons travel with velocity of the light, that's what here I am substituting here. So 3.3 into 10 power minus 27. Remember here the reflection is completely reflected, right? So final minus initial will be double the value of, so change in that momentum. So 2 times of this value, 6.6 into 10 power minus 27. Therefore total change in the momentum per second can be given as, rate of change of momentum is nothing but force, so F equal to dP by dt, so N into 2P by T. That's it, right? Total value, and the change in the momentum is for n number of photons, so total number 2n into 2P by change in the time T. Per 1 second, right, we are actually calculating, so 1. So 33 into 10 power minus 12 Newton. And the pressure, that's what, right, we have to calculate here. Given that cross sectional area is 1 millimeter square, upon substitution of all that we can get that to be as 33 into 10 power minus 12 Newton per meter square. 10 power millimeter square, right, so it will be 10 power minus 6 Newton per meter square. 33 into 10 power minus 12, this we have to change, divided by millimeter square, 10 power minus 3 whole square. What it will be? 10 power minus 3 whole square, 10 power minus 6. If it goes up, plus. So 33 into 10 power minus 6 Newton per meter square. This is your final answer. Clear? Right. In a photocell, bichromatic light of wavelength 2480 angstrom and 6000 angstrom are incident on a cathode whose work function is 4.8 electron volt. If a uniform magnetic field of 3 into 10 power minus 5 Tesla exists parallel to the plate, find the radius of circular path described by the photoelectron. Mass of the electron is 9 into 10 power minus 31 kg. This here bichromatic, which means two colors, two wavelengths, strictly speaking. Two wavelengths are there, which is already given for us, 2480 angstrom and 6000 angstrom. So first of all, let us find out the energy with each. So E equal to hc by lambda. So hc 12400 rate, so lambda 1 angstrom. Now do you understand how easy it is now? So 12400 by lambda 1 is already 2480 angstrom. Substitute that. So it is, we got 5 electron volt. Angstrom no. So angstrom cancels out. So 5 electron volt we got. And remember, this 5 electron volt is greater than the given work function 4.8. So keep this aside. Now with the second wavelength E2, 12400 by lambda 2, again I got 2.06 electron volt, which is less than the work function. So look here, E2 is less than W naught and E1 is greater than W naught, obviously. Therefore photoelectric effect is possible with lambda 1. That's it, right? More work, it should be greater than that, right? So that's what. So problem with the photoelectric effect is possible with the first wavelength, that is 2480 angstrom. Now maximum kinetic energy can be given as h nu minus h nu naught, which is the equation, right? So from that Ke max equal to E1 minus W naught, which we got it as 0.2 electron volt difference of. And now you got this, right? How I got E1 minus W naught? It's already we have calculated, right? 5 electron minus 4.8, 5 minus 4.8, 0.2 electron volt. Keep this aside. Look here, at the end we have been given that if a uniform magnetic field 3 into 10 power minus 5 Tesla exists parallel to the plate, find the radius of the circular path described by the photoelectron. So the electron is moving in a circular path if the field is parallel to the plates. So then if the charged particle is moving in circular path in a magnetic field, what is the expression for the radius? That's it, right? R equal to mv by qb. In cyclotron magnetics we studied. So R equal to mv by qb upon substitution. Now what do you mean by this again? M into v, momentum. How I can relate momentum and kinetic energy? Square root of 2m ke by qb. Ke max just now we calculated. So upon all substitution of all these values, I can get R equal to 5 centimeter. Remember, mass of the electron has been given for us already. So upon substitution I can get radius to be as 5 centimeter. Let's look at the next one. Monochromatic light of wavelength lambda is incident on an isolated metallic sphere of radius a. The threshold wavelength is lambda naught, which is greater than lambda. Okay, minimum wavelength has been given for us and the incident wavelength is lambda. Find the number of photoelectrons emitted before the emission of photoelectrons stop. So a little tricky one. First of all, look at the given condition carefully. As the metal sphere is isolated, that's it, right? Given one, it becomes positive, or you can call it as it will be positively charged when electrons are ejected from it. When electrons are ejected from it, there is an extra attractive force on the photoelectrons, isn't it or not? If the potential of the sphere is raised to V, the electron should have a minimum energy of W plus EV, where W is the work function, EV is nothing but for that potential and the charge. So that must be the minimum energy that electron should possess, so that the electron can come out of. Then for the emission of photoelectron, or you can call it as the emission of photoelectrons will stop when Hc by lambda is equal to W plus EV. Hope you got all this. E equal to h nu, and from there I wrote this Hc by lambda. Nu is nothing but C by lambda. While this should be equal to the work, that was clear. But due to the removal of an isolated, imagine if this is a sphere, when an electron come out of this, eventually this will become equal positive, right, which will gain a potential, and thus this electron is going to experience more more attraction from this. And what was that? EV, work done by this. That's it. No, as we know that, right, potential is nothing but work done per charge, W equal to QV, and here we are calling that to be as E into V is nothing but the work done. So with addition to the extra, this work done also should be taken into account. That's what I am writing here, potential. So Hc by lambda naught, which is nothing but the work function, plus EV. So from there, potential can be written as Hc by E of 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught. Now charge on the sphere, it's isolated, right? What is the expression for the potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by. So from there, Q equal to 4 pi epsilon naught A into V, where A is the radius, potential V is. Therefore, number of electrons emitted, we have the formula, right? Total Q equal to Ne. From there, N equal to Q by E. Q we already got that, right? 4 pi epsilon naught A into V by E. Now substitute the values, and this is what the final answer is: 4 pi epsilon naught A Hc by E square of 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught. Okay, remember, if you look at these problems, they will be like easy, or you may think like they are very easy kind of the problems. But solve these problems once again, not only just going through them, note down the problems and solve on your own, so that you will understand. And not only this, try to solve the different kinds of the problems also, most importantly the problems in the book back exercises too. Okay, light described at a place by the equation E equal to 100 sine of 5 into 10 power 15 t plus sine of 8 into 10 power 16 t falls on a metal surface having work function 2 electron volt. Calculate the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons. This is also one of the different kind of problems. Look here, the given light is this, what the expression E equal to 100 sine of 5 into 10 power 15 t plus sine of 8 into 10 power 16 t, right? Which means the given light is having two different frequencies. That's it, right? Both these are. Now the frequency which is having a larger value will cause the photoelectrons with the largest kinetic energy. That's it, right? E equal to h nu, and from there we are speaking about. So greater the frequency, there it will be. Out of all this, the larger frequency is omega equal to 2 pi f, and from there f equal to omega by 2 pi. Omega values, let's go for the substitution. 8 into 10 power 16, that's it, right? The largest of entire combination. No? So that's it. So 8 into 10 power 16 by 2 pi hertz. So keep this aside. Now substitute in the equation. K max equal to h nu minus w by h nu minus w. Look here, you might have asked me that, sir, how you substituted that h value is 4.14 into 10 power minus 15. Remember, we know that h equal to 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, right? Now convert this joule second into electron volts, since because you on the right hand side you have that 2 electron volt, right? Or else this is given as 2 electron volt, right? The work function, convert that into joule. Either convert the Planck's constant value into the electron volt, or convert this given work function electron volt into joule. You do either, but anyway at the end we have to represent the answer in the electron volt, since because the given values are in that. Hence maximum kinetic, upon simplification I can get that to be as 3.2 electron volt. Are we clear with this? Right. Now let's look at the next one. A small metal plate of work function W is kept at a distance d from a singly ionized fixed ion. A monochromatic light beam is incident on the metal plate and photoelectrons are emitted. Find the maximum wavelength of the light beam so that some of the photoelectrons may go round the ion along a circle. So a metal plate of work function W is kept at a distance d from the singly ionized ion. You can see here, this is the fixed ion. So from there at a distance d, metal plate has been placed, and now a monochromatic light beam is incident on the metal plate and the photoelectrons are emitted. Find the maximum wavelength of the light beam so that some of the photoelectrons may go round the ion along a circle. So this is a positive ion, metal plate is placed. A little funny, like imagining the experimental setup is also very little tricky, so you can call like just a random imagination. If you imagine this to be the metal plate, and if radiation is falling like this, electron obviously it comes out, so electron right as a positive, so that's what the situation. So now for that case, electrostatic force between these two, look here, singly ionized. What do you mean by that? Single charge. Okay, so magnitude of the charge that we have to consider. So the Coulomb electrostatic force between them should be counterbalanced by the centripetal force. Okay, so 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. So q1 q2, magnitude of the charge is singly ionized and a single electron. So E square by, what is the distance between them? D square is equal to mv square by r is d here. So d cancels out and get mv square from that, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught E square by d. Now kinetic energy will be half mv square. So multiply with half, 1 by 8 epsilon naught E square by d, keep it aside. But photoelectric equation is, since because the emission is happening, the electron is actually coming out because of that illumination of the plate, right? Photoelectric effect. So we have to apply that. So kinetic energy Ke max equal to h nu minus h nu naught, and nu is nothing but c by lambda. Hc by lambda minus w is nothing but this maximum kinetic energy is nothing but this is what, right, we have calculated. So that's what I substituted here, E square by 8 pi epsilon naught d. From there get the go for the simplification, and we can get lambda equal to hc into 8 pi epsilon naught d whole divided by E square plus 8 pi epsilon naught dw. So go for the simplification. This is your final answer. Are we clear with this? Right. Now let's look at the next one. A particle of mass m projected horizontally with velocity u. If it makes an angle theta with the horizontal after some time, then at that instant the de Broglie wavelength is. Quite interesting. So a particle of mass m has been projected. Anyway, matter waves are not at all related with the charge rate, so whatever it can be of, but only considerable of the reasonable mass, and they should be in motion, smaller the particle. So one of the such kind has been taken, and one particle has been projected in such a way that with velocity u, and after some time it's making an angle theta with the horizontal. Now at that instant we need to find out the de Broglie wavelength. And remember, for a projectile, horizontal component of the velocity will always remains constant. HCV refers to horizontal component of velocity. Horizontal component of velocity is always constant. So can I write it as Vx equal to ux? This is what, after some time t, v. Can I write down? Initially it started, so that's what. So v cos theta equal to u. That's it. Now if I resolve, v cos theta, v sin theta. So v cos theta equal to u. From that I can write down v equal to u by cos theta. Now what is the formula for de Broglie wavelength? Lambda equal to h by p, h by mv. So h by m into, after some time, what is the velocity? U by cos theta. So lambda equal to h cos theta by mu. This is the final expression which we need. Are we clear with this? Right. Let's look at the next one. Find the ratio of de Broglie wavelength of molecules of hydrogen and helium which are at temperature 27 degree centigrade and 127 degree centigrade respectively. So look that carefully. We have a relation with kinetic energy and as well as Boltzmann's constant. Refer your kinetic theory of the gases which you have studied in your 11th standard. So do we have this relation or not? 3 by 2 kBt equal to half mv square. If not so, refer that, you will get there, which you have already studied. So in thermal equilibrium and at absolute temperature, I can relate the kinetic energy to be as 3 by 2 kBt, average kinetic energy of the molecules, which you have already studied. Kb is called Boltzmann's constant and its value is already given for you. Now lambda equal to h by p, that's what I have to write down. And momentum is nothing but root 2 mke, that's it, right? So in that place, I am going to replace this and my final answer is root 3 mkbt. So look here, lambda is inversely proportional to mass, lambda is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. Anyway, Kb is constant, H is constant. So lambda H by lambda He, hydrogen by helium. Upon substitution, I can get square root of A by 8 by 3. Temperatures have been already given for us, right? And masses anyway we can calculate. Isn't it or not? So your final answer is square root of 8 by 3. Solve these numericals. Don't just go for this. Check whether this answer is correct or not. Okay, right. Next one. Electrons with de Broglie wavelength lambda fall on the target in an X-ray tube. Find the cutoff wavelength lambda naught of the emitted X-rays. So when de Broglie wavelength electrons which are having the de Broglie wavelength lambda are falling on a target in an X-ray tube, we have to find out the cutoff wavelength lambda naught for the emitted X-rays. As we know that lambda equal to h by p, can I write down that p equal to h by lambda? Right. Kinetic energy of striking electrons. With what kinetic energy they are actually striking the target? Kinetic energy equal to p square by 2m. P already we have calculated, right? So h square by 2m lambda square. Remember, as I told you already, I am relating the energy and the wavelength here. Did you notice that? Kinetic energy of the particle and momentum of the particle of the wave, de Broglie wave, and the kinetic energy K equal to p square by 2m. So p we represented in terms of the wavelength, right? So h square by 2m lambda square. Remember, this equals to the maximum energy of the X-ray photons. That's it, right? Because de Broglie wavelength falls on the target in an X-ray tube. Find the cutoff wavelength. Cutoff wavelength, which means it has the electron should emit from there, right? So minimum value of, so hc by lambda naught, h nu naught actually I should represent. Nu naught is nothing but anyway c by lambda naught, right? Cutoff frequency, threshold. So that's what. So hc by lambda naught equal to h square by 2m lambda square. Upon simplification, I can get lambda naught equal to 2m lambda square c by h. Are we clear with this? Right. Now let's look at the next one. Photons of energy 4.25 electron volt and 4.7 electron volt are incident on two metal surfaces A and B respectively. The maximum kinetic energy of emitted electrons are respectively Ta electron volt and Tb equal to Ta minus 1.5 electron volt. The ratio of de Broglie wavelength of photoelectrons from them is lambda A is to lambda B equal to 1 is to 2. Then find the work function of A and B. So this question, look here, we instead of direct values, Ta and Tb are that particular energies that was given for us, maximum kinetic energies, and we have a relation Ta Tb equal to or Ta minus Tb equal to 1.5. Difference of that energies has been given for us. So using them we have to solve. As we know that lambda equal to h by p square root of 2m ke. So wavelength is inversely proportional to square root of kinetic energy. So can I write it as lambda a by lambda b by lambda a equal to square root of Ta by Tb? We have already relation with the kinetic energy and temperature, right? So of course kinetic energy, right? So here kinetic energy has been represented with Ta and Tb. So lambda b by lambda a equal to square root of Ta by Tb. So this is already given for us. So 2 equal to square root of Ta by, and what is Tb? Ta minus 1.5. Upon simplification I can get Ta equal to 2 electron volt. Right. Now work function. which can be given as already given, right? 4.25 photons of energy, 4.25 electron volt and 4.7 electron volt are incident on two metal surfaces A and B. So now for the first work function, WA is 4.25 minus TA. We got right already, so 2.25 electron volt. Now substitute this TA value in TB. We already got this, right? So 2 minus 1.5, which I got 0.5 electron volt. Now again work function B is nothing but 4.7 minus TB. That's it, no, from the equations which you can from the given values also we can notice, right? Did you notice how I am writing all this? So h nu equal to h nu naught minus half mv square, Ke max equal to, let me write down, photoelectric equation, which is nothing but half mv max square equal to h nu minus h nu naught, photoelectric equation. From this I am actually writing all this. Don't confuse here, T and TB are the kinetic energies which are related to, and these are the work functions. Okay, I can write down that, right? So that's what, where WH naught is nothing but work function of A. Okay, or else you, for your understanding, write down like this, T equal to H nu, which is nothing but that, minus W. For whatever the value we can write down this, and that's what we have already calculated, and that's what substituting here. Clear? Right. Now let's look at the next one. Radiations of frequencies nu1 and nu2 are made to fall in turn on a photosensitive surface. The stopping potential required for stopping the most energetic emitted photoelectrons in the two cases are V1 and V2 respectively. That's the stopping potentials. Obtain the formula for determining Planck's constant and the threshold frequency in terms of these parameters. So look here, if W0 is the work function of the metal, then the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons ejected is, can I write down like this? Instead of kinetic energy, I can write down that EV1. In the theory we have already seen this, right? At that maximum stopping potential will be equal to the maximum kinetic energy. That's it, right? So EV1, V1, V2 are the stopping potentials. So EV1 equal to h nu1 minus W0. Similarly EV2 equal to h nu2 minus W0. So I can equate them, right? So now I can get, upon substitution, h equal to E of V2 minus V1 by nu2 minus V1. Keep this aside. This is the expression which is required in terms of the given parameters for the Planck's constant. Okay, remember this particular equation you may get, or you can get while in the separate kind of the problems too, which means for you the stopping potential values and the frequencies will be given for you. So at that instant you can find out the Planck's constant too. Separately as a problem you can get. Okay, and now if nu naught is a threshold frequency, then can I write it as EV1 equal to h nu1 minus W0, and from there h nu1 minus h nu naught. From there get nu naught from this expression. W0 is nothing but h nu naught. So from there get nu naught, nu1 minus EV1 by h. We have already calculated h, so substitute that here, and upon substitution I can get nu naught equal to, this is right, the expression, final expression what I will get. Okay, are we clear with this?